Hey, Justin Lucas here, and I'm going to share with you guys one very simple, very cool little technique that I like to do, or I wouldn't call it a technique, but one little change I like to make up on a technique. And so you guys have obviously heard, hopefully by now, just about reeling these straight baits, like a Berkeley jerk shad, max scent, flat nose minnow, anything with a straight tail, but reeling these baits and using forward-facing sonar to catch more fish doing it. I think a lot of these fish have gotten so pressured, they don't even want a swim bait tail kicking anymore, and the very subtle action of these style baits on live scope, when you're able to keep the bait above the fish's heads, for some reason right now, they are just really liking it all across the country. Just got back from a trip out west, caught some really big smallmouth doing this, and I wanna share with you guys one way to mix it up and be a little bit different than other people. So this is really all this is gonna end up doing at the end of the day is just make sure that it's gonna make sure that every cast with the bait, your bait is gonna look perfect in the water, and it probably will give it a little bit more action. It's gonna allow it to be a little bit more free flowing through the water. So what we're gonna do with this guy, instead of just tying your standard San Diego jam knot like I do on most baits, or Palomar like I'm sure a lot of people do, we're gonna tie a loop knot with this, and I'm gonna show you the advantage to it. So the first thing I wanna do is take my line right here like this. I'm gonna make just a little overhand knot with it, okay? So tie the overhand knot. You can see I'm kind of pulling it down to the bait now, and I'm gonna pull it and get it kind of tight on my finger, and then I'm gonna wrap up 6 times. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to take that tag in, and I'm going to take my finger out of the loop, and we're going to go back through both loops down there at the bottom. Okay, you want to wet it, of course, and push down on it, and that's what it's going to look like when you're finished. Let's cut this tag end off. And the beautiful thing about this is that bait, your knot is never gonna get pushed around the eye of the hook. So if you throw this out there, you make a long cast, you whip it really hard, your knot might go, it might end up on the other side of the eye of the hook on a long cast, and you're not gonna be able to know that or adjust it on that long cast. So your bait's gonna kind of come back sideways. It's not gonna come back in a perfectly straight, kind of little shimmying, swimming straight line. It's just gonna look not right, swimming off to the side. And when you tie a loop knot, I do this with a lot of hair jigs as well, it just continues to make that bait swim perfectly straight at all times. There's nowhere for it to ever get hung up on that eye. It's always gonna be real free flowing through the water and look very, very natural. So if you guys are using live scope, if you haven't started using this technique, trust me, you need to start using it. And if you have started using it already, make sure to check out the loop knot on it, because I feel like it makes a difference. I feel like it actually gets me a few more bites throughout the day, just because I never have to worry about where that knot is positioned on the eye of the hook.